Welcome to Comics Are Awesome, brought to you by Alter Ego Comics. I'm Mark.
I'm Josh.
And we are here to talk about this week's best comics, and there are a lot of them this week. All kinds of cool stuff. It's the last new comic book day before Christmas, so make sure you go out and patronize your local comic shop, because they need your support. We all need your support. You may have seen in social media there are lots of stores closing. You know, it's no secret that Marvel hasn't been firing on all cylinders for like the last several years. So yeah, support your local comic shop and your neighborhood small businesses. They need your love this holiday season much more than Amazon does. So
what was the Stewart thing on Big Bang Theory?
Oh,
we're running a special. Buy a comic, get to keep having a comic book store.
Buy something, help keep us open. We're not saying that.
Yeah, we're not
saying that. We're moderately better than that. Okay, so since Marvel has not been firing all cylinders, I want to lead things off with my pick of the week, which is a Marvel comic, Marvel 2-in-1, The Return of Marvel 2-in-1, featuring the ever-loving Blue-Eyed Thing. This, of course, is a throwback to the 1970s, 80s era Marvel 2-in-1, which featured the Thing and guest star of the month, kind of a takeoff on Marvel Team Up, where we had Spider-Man and guest star of the month. And those are really fun issues. People that read those really had fond memories of them. I'm one of them. This is a little bit different. So this is Marvel 2-in-1 featuring the Thing and the Human Torch. And the title of this story arc is called Fate of the Four, Part 1. This is written by Chip Zdarsky, artwork by Jim Chung, and it is awesome. So many people... The funny thing is, let me tell you a funny story. Everybody likes to gripe that there is no Fantastic Four comic being published. But when a Fantastic Four comic gets published, no one buys it. So I don't understand it. Everyone's all fired up about Disney acquiring 20th Century Fox and the FF moving back over to Marvel, and that's all well and good. But honestly, Fantastic Four hasn't sold well since John Byrne was on the title in the 1980s. Maybe the Mark Waid and Mike Wieringo stuff in the 90s. And there's been great stuff since then. Matt Fraction had a great run. Jonathan Hickman had a great run. And it just didn't sell. Speaking for our store, Fantastic Four didn't sell. But everyone likes to whine, bring back the FF, there's no FF. Well, they're trying to figure out what to do with the FF here, and I can think of no better person to write this than Chip Zdarsky. I really think if Marvel can treat Zdarsky well, and if he continues to have fun with what he's doing, he is one of the new voices at Marvel that is going to lead them out of the darkness. Between Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man, and now Marvel 2-in-1, his voice is fresh, and he knows these characters. He's a fan, much like Bendis was when he got started, and Bendis is still a fan, but and Aaron, when he took over Thor and other things, you can tell that these people have a deep love for these characters, and it's very evident in Marvel 2-in-1. The Thing and the Human Torch are not really on speaking terms. They've kind of gone their separate ways since Reed, Sue, and the kids have gone missing. And Johnny is kind of living on the edge. He's pushing himself to his limits, and your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man makes a pit stop to talk to Ben Grimm and say, hey, you really need to talk to your buddy. A lot of emotion in this issue. An appearance by Dr. Doom. It looks like Dr. Doom or Superior Iron Man is going to be playing a part in this as well. And these two characters are at the heart of the Marvel Universe. The Fantastic Four was the first comic to launch the Marvel Universe, and there's definitely a tip of the hat to that with this. The FF deserves to be good. It deserves to be in the Marvel Universe, number one, but also deserves to be good and deserves to be read by as many people as possible. So this is as close as we're going to get for right now. Who knows where it's going to lead, but I really enjoyed this issue.
Me too.
Any comments?
No, I would speculate that that's not a coincidence that this releases right after the deal, except Marvel can't actually keep a schedule that tightly.
Except this was in the works long before that.
Well, you don't know how long that deal's been in the works.
Well, yeah, the deal could have been in the works.
But their ability to synchronize like that has not been proven in the past, so.
Yeah.
My pick of the week this week is Batman 37, written by Tom King, art by Clayman? Birdman?
Hey, man. I think it's Clayman.
Is it Clayman?
Could be Pop
Someone Man?
It's Clay and Pop.
Clay and Pop.
Pop
it
music.
is Clayman.
Okay.
Special thanks to Seth Mann and Jordy Belair. This is a follow-up to last issue's start of the Super Friends story arc. Last issue was a kind of a back and forth with Superman and Batman and their respective ladies saying, you should talk to him about this engagement. And they talk about the engagement and go out on a double date. So this is Clark and Lois and Bruce and Selena going to a county fair kind of thing in Gotham, and it is 8 kinds of awesome. It is everything I want to read in a Batman story and in a Superman story. It acknowledges, 80 years of history, but doesn't dwell on it. It's fresh, relatable. The characters stay in character, in tone. I believe every line in here from Lois Lane is a Lois Lane line. It makes sense with the history of the character, but they feel fresh. They feel like they're real people, like real dialogue. It is awesome. It is a romantic comedy. It is just awesome. That's pretty.
It is.
I can't.
It was this close to being my pick of the week, but I felt like this net nudged out just a little bit more because of Zdarsky's passion for these characters. But not like Tom King doesn't have passion for these characters.
Right.
Because between last issue, this issue, 10 issues ago, whatever, the annual, Tom King is blowing things up over in the Batman universe. And it is just so, so awesome.
Yes.
All right, we'll stay with DC, and they are firing on all cylinders. Marvel mentioned that they're not firing on all cylinders, with some notable exceptions. So we have a new storyline. I believe is it 4 parts or 5 parts?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember. It's either 4 or 5 parts. It's called Super Sons of Tomorrow. This is a crossover between Superman, Super Sons, and Teen Titans, I believe. And the first 2 parts are out this week. Superman number 37 is part 1. Features the return of someone that I didn't expect to see again as quickly as we are, and I will kind of leave it at that because it kind of spoils some stuff. But you've got lots of recognizable characters in here. When I say Superman, Super Sons, and the Teen Titans, they are the characters that will be in every issue. So it's a really well-done crossover so far with 2 issues in. Written by Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason, who are the regular writers on Superman and Super Sons. Artwork on Superman by Jorge Jimenez. Artwork on Super Sons, which is the second part, by...
Yes, also out this week, so you can get 1 and 2 on the stands.
Oh, Ryan Benjamin, also excellent on the artwork front. It's just great. It's exciting. It's action-packed. You don't know where it's going to go next. The artwork is fantastic. Everything I want in DC Comics.
Yeah, it made me sad that Tomasi's not the regular writer on the series anymore.
On which series?
Superman.
I thought he was back.
I thought he was back temporarily.
He was taking a break.
Okay, he is back.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought there were further issues listed.
No. Well, maybe. It's possible. But he's doing a lot.
Yeah, and I will say this week's DC Comics felt like the Batman-Superman show. Between the very obvious team-up in Batman, Dark Knight's Metal 4 had a lot of Batman-Superman moments.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the first issue of Superman there, we have both Batman and Superman playing a role. It was awesome, because I love that relationship. So.
And I do want to quickly point out, Dark Knight, we're not going to talk about Dark Knight's Metal 4, because we didn't feel the need to. It's out this week. It's still awesome. Great stuff. And as I was reading it this week, it feels like a great movie.
Yeah.
Like if they turn this into something somewhere down the road, if Warner Brothers can get their act together, we could have a movie like this. It's fun and features everybody.
There's just not a lot we can say about it. It's still everything's turned up to 11. Next up for me, another new number 1 from Marvel. We've got, it's a new number 100 from Marvel. We've got Tales of Suspense number 100 featuring Hawkeye and the Winter Soldier. You may remember the original Tales of Suspense was Iron Man and Cap. Is that right?
Yep.
So this is obviously based on the cover there. This is about the apparent death of Black Widow in Secret Empire. And both Clint and Bucky have had romantic relationships with her in the past. They're both, very close. They understand her well. And neither of them seems willing to guarantee that she's dead. They both see signs that maybe something involving Natasha has been happening around the world. They go to investigate. At least this first issue. I'm sorry, I should say this is written by Matthew Rosenberg, who wrote 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank. He wrote the current Punisher
He's
arc.
writing half of Marvel Comics right now. Doctor Strange. No, that's Donny Cates.
No, that's Donny Cates.
He's doing the Phoenix Resurrection.
Oh, yeah. I don't know who drew this, but it was Travel Foreman. I should have known that. This issue especially felt a lot like Fraction's Hawkeye. A lot of it's from Clint's point of view. There's a lot of voiceover. He's kind of a screw-up in the way of Hawkeye. But we also get to see him. It's nice to see him. Fraction's book was very much not a superhero book. It was what Hawkeye does in his time off. Here we see him. He's trying to be a spy and infiltrate, and he's not great at it. But we still see that he's hyper-competent in the areas in which he's competent, which is nice to see him be both kind of crappy and depressing and also awesome and punchy at the same time. So if you like any of those characters, Bucky, Black Widow, or Clint, you should totally check out Tales of Suspense number 100. And I will say, it's a little tongue-in-cheek, but the last 2 pages are allegedly letters pages from issue that they received for issue 99 of Tales of Suspense back in the 60s. Now, I'm pretty sure these are all made up.
I think so.
But Rosenberg's responses to things that happened decades ago are pretty fun. Also out this week, also worth mentioning, Quantum and Woody number 1. It's no secret that I love me some Quantum and Woody. Written by Daniel Kibblesmith. I don't know who that is. Art and colors by Kano, who sounds familiar, but I still don't know who that is. That might have been a bad guy in Mortal Kombat.
Kano!
Yes.
Yes.
Quantum and Woody, brothers cursed to be together and slap their quantum bands together, or else they dissipate into magic space cosmic rays.
Clang!
Clang! It's a great family-oriented story because you don't, even if you love your family, you don't always like them, so there's a lot of conflict there, but you always know they'll come back together, and it moves the story forward. There's also a ton of pop culture references. It starts off with them playing a version of D&D back when they're kids in their treehouse, and it's just loads of fun. And also out on the one-shot front, we've got Hellboy Krampusnacht by Mike Mignola and Adam Hughes.
Adam Hughes.
Yeah, Mike Mignola, creator and generally the only writer on Hellboy that matters. Adam Hughes can draw about anything, but he's best known for his ladies. Not many of those in this story, but this is a Krampus story. Hellboy, it's set in 75, so the BPRD's still together. Hellboy's somewhere in Europe. I assumed it was...
Austria.
Is Austria?
Yeah,
okay.
it says in the beginning.
And he's going after what appears to be the Krampus. Well, I will say it was basically Hellboy encapsulated. Hellboy is always about mythology and irreverence and kind of art, and it's a very light, quick read, but it was very fun, very season appropriate. I enjoyed the heck out of it, even though I'm not a regular Hellboy reader. I've read a lot of the older stuff.
I did like at the end they have a little bit of a photo album.
Yeah, that was cute. And it's Adam Hughes, right?
Is drawing, Polaroids from various times, Christmases with Hellboy. I enjoyed it too.
Very fun.
I like Hellboy in small doses. I mean,
Hellboy's, and we were talking about this before the video started. Hellboy's not a words book. It's an art book. It's created and by an artist, drawn by an artist, written by an artist. And it's very... It is what it is. Like, I like it, but it's not, he's not Bendis. There's not 1,000 words on the page. It's not an in-depth plot story. It's take something fantastic from mythology, turn it on its head a little bit, have an adventure, and move on.
There you go. Speaking of words on a page, Dark Knight's Metal has a lot of words on
a
the
lot
page.
of words on
a
the
lot of words.
Snyder
is a
dream.
wordsmith. Yes. Okay, so, yeah. Okay, we're good. Next up for me, Old Man Logan, number 32, written by Ed Brisson, artwork by Mike Diodato. This is the Scarlet Samurai Part 2. And I love Wolverine. I don't know what's going to happen when they bring back, obviously I don't know what's going to happen when they bring back
Wolverine.
Our present Wolverine, and we have future Wolverine here from another timeline. But the reason I'm talking about this is some stuff happens in here to impact Wolverine immensely. And if you are a longtime Wolverine fan, you do not want to miss this issue. I can't say much more than that, but as you get about halfway to 2/3 of the way through, you realize what's going to happen, and it's going to be painful.
Everything in Wolverine's life is painful.
Yes. Mentally painful. Probably physically, too.
Last up, I've got some books that are continuing to be awesome. Mighty Thor 702. This continues the Death of the Mighty Thor story arc. Beautiful art by Russell Dauterman. Awesome words by Jason Aaron. We get a cameo by Hercules, the Lion of Olympus, which I'm always in favor of. And we get to see we get to see Lady Thor be awesome, but we also get to see Jane Foster be awesome and ballsy, and a confrontation between her and one of the biggest and most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe verbally. Super, super great.
Ike Perlman.
It's hard. Yes, Ike Perlman is going to punch Jane Foster in her cancer.
You said verbally.
Face. Yes. No, Ike Perlman doesn't know how to use words. He punches with them. Yeah, so just great. Amazing. Whatever.
Sorry. Whatever his name is. The guy that owns Marvel. He's a myth.
He's a legend. And also up this week, Loki, Sorcerer Supreme, the next part of Doc Strange. This is 383, written by Donny Cates, with art by Gabriel Walta. Gabriel Hernandez Walta? I really like the story Cates is doing here, and he's just breaking my heart on every page. And that's probably on purpose, I'm hoping. But yes, great, top notch. And there may be some connection between that last book and this book.
I need to read this.
Yeah, it's good.
Wow, all kinds of stuff. So, yes, Wednesday before Christmas. Time to pick up some stuff for over the Christmas break for you to read. Pick up gifts for your loved ones and friends. Comics make great gifts, and most comic stores will have a list of their best sellers that you can choose from, or just pick out something that you really like and give it to someone that you really like. And I will get off my soapbox now for comics. But if you like this week's episode, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube, and make sure to subscribe so that you're kept in the loop every time we add a new video. Go back and check out our Star Wars review if you haven't done so already, if you've seen Star Wars, where Josh and I yell at each other for 30 minutes. And we'll have a link to our private Facebook group for Comics Are Awesome. Please join us there and continue the conversation about comics that are awesome. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you real soon. Have a Merry Christmas, actually. We won't see you before Christmas, so Merry Christmas. Thank you for watching. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa.
Yeah,
whatever.
Hanukkah's almost over, isn't it?
Yeah. 8 crazy nights. See ya.